There's a lot of speculation about how high Polkadot might go in that next bullish market. So I thought today I'd take some time to share my 2025 price prediction for Polkadot. As I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Polkadot. So here we have Polkadot paired up with USDT. We're on the 1-day Binance chart. Now, there's a lot to kind of talk about in this chart. Okay, so we are going to clear up a few things to start with, right? We're going to be using a couple of tools to help us try to predict out where we think the next bullish market of 2025 is likely to take Polkadot. Okay, so for that, we're going to use two main tools. One is kind of one that a lot of people will know and recognize, called the Fibonacci retracement and extension tool. This is embedded into TradingView, although there are some settings on it which are different. So I'll quickly just run through what that looks like. You can find it in your chart just over here on the left hand side. Now, because I run my charts like you see here on the logarithmic scale, okay, it's important that I come into the settings of my Fibonacci retracement tool, and I scroll all the way to the very bottom and I put the fib levels based on the log scale. If I do not do this, my Fibonacci retracement and extension tool will be very different. It will give you different results. But if I'm using a logarithmic chart, I must make sure that my Fibonacci retracement tool is in logarithmic. I wanted to kind of clear that up right now, just because I know that some people will try to replicate what I'm doing here and they'll have their chart on logarithmic, but they won't have their Fibonacci retracement on logarithmic. If you're not on logarithmic, then that's fine. You don't have to do this setting. Okay, so the other things on here that are different are obviously the levels that I am using. I'm using these specific levels due to the other tool that I'm going to use to be predictive over the future of Polkadot, and that is Elliott Wave. Elliott Wave and Fibonacci retracements and extensions go together hand in hand. One is heavily dependent on the other. Okay, so I use 0.236, 0.382, 0.5 is kind of redundant, but we use it from time to time. 0.618, 0.786, and the 1 obviously is 1-to-1, 1.618, 1.382, 1.236, and 0.882. I added on here as well one additional level through interest more than anything else. It's not an Elliott Wave specific level, but it is the 0.702. You can screenshot that, pause it, or whatever. Those are the levels that I use. Okay, so we're going to use the Fibonacci retracement tools, and we're going to use Elliott Wave, which obviously splits opinions in the kind of crypto space as to whether it works or doesn't work. It's a very complex subject. I put a course together on this because it is so complicated to understand, and it's even more complicated to actually implement correctly. If Elliott Wave is failing, it is the analyst that is at fault, not Elliott Wave. Elliott Wave, if you back test it, should always fit 100% of the time. There should never be a scenario where an Elliott Wave does not fit. That is because there is a rule for absolutely every scenario. So if Elliott Wave is not playing out as kind of drawn or as indicated by an analyst, that problem is the analyst, not the actual Elliott Wave. The only caveat that I have to that is that Elliott Wave works best on a highly liquid market. Now, Polkadot being in the top X amount of crypto projects, right, in the top 100, probably in the top 100 is going to be fine for Elliott Wave. For the top 10, it's even better. So Polkadot here and Elliott Wave should go together hand in hand very, very nicely because it's a highly liquid market. And if you apply it correctly, follow the rules, it's black and white, and it'll kind of give you good predictive capabilities. So Elliott Wave plus Fibonacci together work beautifully. Okay, we can also, if you wanted to, layer in some smart money concepts, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to throw in Elliott Wave and retracement tools from the Fibonacci side to kind of predict out where I think 2025 is going to take Polkadot. Now, we can first of all have to take a look at history to understand, is history set up to repeat itself? If it is, then we're going to be in a very, very bullish time for Polkadot. Okay, and if not, then, well, we're going to have to kind of see how things kind of play out. So from 2020 to 2021, we can see a pretty aggressive move for Polkadot to the upside. I've often been quite disappointed in 2021 when it came to how high we actually saw Polkadot go. I was kind of hopeful that maybe we would see more, but we didn't. Okay, this move was a 2,627%, right? It's not bad, but it's not as good as others. For example, Stacks back in 2020 to 2021 did 7,400%. We saw Cardano's ADA do 17,000%. We saw Polygon's Matic at the time doing 43,000%, right? So 2,600% is really just in line with Bitcoin. It didn't do anything extraordinary at the time. Now, of course, times change. Polkadot is a significantly more developed and more established today than it was back in 2020 and 2021. Okay, so we could argue that maybe the technology is better today than it was, and therefore maybe it's going to grow exponentially due to that. Now, obviously, that's pure speculation based on fundamentals. What we can do is we can take a look at the data in the charts, though, apply Elliott wave and the Fibonacci side, and predict out what's the most likely to happen. So we're going to measure this initial move, okay, from 2020. So we have the low point down here in on our chart. This is a Binance chart on the 18th of August, right? This initial move to the upside is quite an interesting one. And of course, if we go ahead and just measure the entire structure that happened afterwards, well, we can see that we easily hit 1.618. So we know that this is an incredibly bullish time for Polkadot, right? And we can look at this through the lens that we have a 5-wave pattern. We have the wave 1, the wave 2, the wave 3, 4, and 5. Wave 4 being deeper. There's an alternating theory in Elliott wave as well, by the way. When wave 2 kind of holds up really strongly, you tend to find that wave 4 comes down deeply, whereas normal structures would actually be the opposite. You'd have a wave 1, a really deep wave 2, usually 88.2%. It goes down as deep as 88.2% of the wave 1. And then you have a wave 3 and a really shallow wave 4 before rallying up into the 5th wave, right? Sometimes, though, if wave 2 is short, wave 4 tends to overextend itself down. Okay, so it's an alternating kind of movement between wave 4 and wave 2. You tend to find them occasionally. They're not that common, but we saw a lot of it in 2021. And that's exactly what I think has gone on here. Now, because of the depth of wave 4, our wave 5 should have actually gone up significantly further. However, the market did take a bearish turn towards the end of 2021. And so we actually truncated that 5th wave, falling short of its actual target between $71 and $128. So we know we had a 5-wave movement in the 5th wave, and it just fell short of its actual end target. We then started to see a bear market, and this bear market was very aggressive for Polkadot. Now, the structure internally here, to me, looked like it was going to turn into a potential impulsive breakdown. However, we avoided that. Okay, and I at least from memory serves me correctly at the time, we avoided that. So let's go ahead and sense check. Yeah, 1.618 was all the way down here, so we avoided it. But what it did do is it triggered us to look at this through the lens of a triple zigzag pattern. We had impulsive structures, but not a macro impulsive move. Okay, this meant that we had a W, X, Y, X, and Z structure coming in here for the actual bear market low point, which we actually achieved in October of 2023. From there, we had a great reversal to the upside, and again, it's a very corrective movement at the moment, so we're not seeing the reversals that we want to see just yet. Now, it's possible that this still comes down deeper, as most recently we have seen Polkadot's price action come down and retesting some of these lows of October 2023, most recently on the 5th of August. So this little yellow box area that we had drawn on the chart has always been our accumulation range for Polkadot for quite a period of time. Basically, anything as low as kind of 353.2 on the low side, and you can see we did come down quite aggressively towards 356.2. So at the moment, we are in that kind of position where we could potentially see a new bear market low point for Polkadot, right? Which is not what we want to be seeing at this stage in the market, but at the same time, we do still see this as a strong low point at $2 for Polkadot from 2020. That's important because we have the 5-wave move to the upside. So if we do start to see a big reversal and a big run to the upside for Polkadot in 2025, it's a high probability that history does repeat itself, okay? Specifically that we look for another 5-wave movement and another 2000%. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the existing swing low, okay, as a guide. Of course, if we come down lower, some of these targets are going to be easier to hit, okay? So the main takeaway that I think a lot of people are hopeful for is going to be the 1.618 target. That is $744 at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and just mark that up with a 1.618 label, okay? That 1.618 at $744 is a key level for Polkadot, because anything above 1.618 on the Polkadot's price action, essentially $744.30, is going to be considered an impulsive breakout situation. An impulsive breakout essentially is going to allow Polkadot to see significant gains in this bullish market. If it doesn't reach that kind of level, which is a pretty strong probability, to be honest with you, it's going to be a hard target to hit, then we are not likely to see significant gains in 2025. Okay, so it's important that we understand the variations in difference between where we do see true kind of trend reversals and big breakouts for Polkadot, which would be $744. 30 cents or higher, right? Anything kind of lower than that and seeing a significant pullback at the time will put Polkadot, unfortunately, at a bit of a disadvantage. So it's very important that we understand that before we kind of go on. I'm just going to go ahead and move this exactly to the correct level, which is 30.4, because I'm going to just leave this label on here so if we can use it for future reference. Now, in terms of a kind of typical structure that we would see here would be a potential A, B, and C structure. That structure means that we are likely to see a new all-time high, but it isn't going to be fantastic. That would put us between $96.49 and $210.53.6, okay? Again, anything higher than the $210 range is going to change this into a more kind of WX, Y, X, and Z pattern structure. But I don't see that happening based on everything that we're seeing here inside the charts at the moment. So to kind of summarize, guys, there's going to be pockets of resistance that we're going to find. Those pockets of resistance are going to be between the 0.618 and the 786. So I'm going to leave that run right here. And if I pull this across, you can see this has been a previous area of resistance as well, and around that all-time high. So $27.29.5 to $47.56.4 is going to be a bit of a barrier for the price action. So if we are to track a bigger impulsive move to the upside, this could be where we find the way through before retracing and finally having that little push to the upside. On the kind of one-to-one and hopeful expectations will be the $96 to $210, but I would lean on the side of caution and on the lower side of expectations when it comes to that structure. But as you can kind of see here, this would follow a 5-3-5 structure and a move to the top here. From this move, we would be looking to basically essentially go short on the market or kind of come out of our positions, because what happens after a three-wave structure like this is anyone's guess. Okay, there's a structure here that basically completes, and basically any structure can form afterwards, and it will be a corrective bearish one. So we want to be aware that this is going to potentially be one of the last moments for Polkadot to do well, and until we kind of reassess the situation in the next bear market, we will not know as to whether or not this is a precursor to further future gains. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I personally see it. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, or join us in our free Discord server. We would love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and don't forget to check out this video right here. It's not one you're going to want to miss.